Good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our live chat. My name is Lakshmi. I'm a language specialist with PCF and it's my pleasure to be your host today. If you have visited our virtual open house and you still have some questions, you are definitely in the right place. We have lined up a very experienced panel of experts from PCF to answer your questions today. We will be answering some of the questions you have submitted online, but if you have more, do drop them in the comments box below. All right, without further delay, shall we meet the members of the panel? Let's say hello to Ms. Tan Li Ji, Assistant CEO of PCF.
Hello and a very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Li Ji, the Assistant CEO of PCF. Currently, I have oversight over the Sparkletot Preschool Services, which covers the operations and the programs at our 360 Sparkletot preschools. I count myself fortunate to work closely with the totally committed and professional colleagues that you see on the panel with me today. Back to you, Lex.
Next, we have Ms. Marini Kamis, Senior Director, Preschool Management.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, I'm Marini, and I head the Preschool Management Division. My teams and I, we're responsible for planning and the provision of preschool services in PCF and their delivery across our network of 360 centers. I'm very happy to be here today and have this opportunity to have conversations with parents of young children. Back to you, Lex.
We also have Ms. Angela Young, Deputy Director, Professional and Education Development.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angela. So I oversee the Professional and Education Development Division, where our team of specialists develop the curriculum, teaching resources, and work closely with our educators at our centers to ensure that quality standards are met. I'm very happy to be here today to speak with you all. Over to you, Lex.
And Dr. Hani Ng, Deputy Director, Inclusive Education.
Hi, everybody. I look after the inclusive education team. I work with a group of early intervention professionals, and we do direct interventions and support our teachers in supporting your children with developmental needs in the preschool. Over back to you, Lex.
Thank you, panelists. To kick things off, shall we start with a question to get everyone warm up? What are some important things to look out for in searching for our child's first preschool?
Well, Lex, for me, the first and the most important thing would be the educators. I will look for an educator who is caring, who is positive, and who is going to give my child the best experience at an early age in life. The other panelists may have their own views.
Allow me to add to this, Lex. For me, I believe most parents would place a high priority on their children's safety while in school. Hence, I would like to suggest that parents find out more about the center's policy and practices in relation to children's safety, security, and well-being. For example, if your child is an infant now, how will the educators at the center manage his daily needs like milk feeds, diapering, and sleep? Another example is if your child has food allergies, then do find out how the center will manage this. What precautionary measures will they take to mitigate risk and their protocol in the event of an allergic reaction. Now in Sparkletots, we do want to give parents peace of mind that their children will be well cared for and safe whilst in our centers. And that's why we place a very strong emphasis on the safety, security, and well-being of our children. And we have well-established center operating procedures to manage the examples that I've just described and much more. Our key policies and practices are all well detailed in our Parents' Handbook, which is shared with all parents upon their enrollment.
All right, so Marini talked about well-being. So I think the happiness of your child is most important. I think it's important to choose a preschool that offers a curriculum that best suits your child's learning style. And at the same time, you also want to make sure that the curriculum is a holistic one that offers a wide range of learning opportunities for children to explore, to play, and for them to develop strong moral values on top of all the critical skills required for the 21st century.
I definitely will jump in to say that I would like a preschool that the teachers will be able to tell me and alert me when the developmental trajectory is not going typically, or that I need to pay attention to that area. Thanks, Lex. Back to you.
Mummies and daddies, let us know what you look out for in selecting a preschool in the comments box below. Thank you, panelists. All right, let's move on to questions we have received through the website. Meanwhile, if you have other questions, please submit them using the comments box below. Here we go. This one's from Jason Lee. How affordable are PCF services, and how can children from low-income families be supported?
Lex, I'll take this one. Mr. Jason Lee, please be assured that as an anchor operator, our fees are kept at the fee caps under ACTA's guidelines. For example, for Singapore citizen, the full fee before subsidy and GST is $720 for full-day childcare. It is $1,275 for full-day infant care and $160 for kindergarten. The full fee table, you can find it on our microsite under the FAQ section. Now, over and above that, Singapore citizens are also eligible for a range of government subsidies which are administered by ACTA. And in addition, depending on the monthly household income, families may also qualify for additional support from PCF under our PCF Enhanced Head Start Fund and the new Temasek Foundation First Step Program, which is a program in partnership with PCF Sparkle Tots. So you have the government subsidy from ACTA, you have the PCF Enhanced Head Start Fund, you have the Temasek Foundation First Step Program. In addition, at the local level, our centers may also be able to help families to tap on other available sources of support which are administered by the community and charitable organizations serving the area. So all in all, there is extensive support for families in need, and we hope to have every child in school with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Twinkle86 has this question. What is an early years center, and how is it different from the usual childcare centers? Are there specialists in the EY centers?
Lex, I think I can help with this question. Well, our earlier centers, they are basically full-day childcare centers, but only for the ages 0 to 4. So serving the infant care to the nursery 2 levels only. They offer the combination of a focused education program complemented by a quality care for children, such as playtime, mealtime, and nap time. The fees, operating hours, and curriculum in our childcare centers and our earlier centers, they are largely similar. Now, staff in our earlier centers, they are qualified EC teachers who would undergo additional specialized training to work effectively with children in the younger age groups. We recognize very much that the first 1,000 days of a child's life is the most important window period for his development. Hence, our teachers are all well trained to develop nurturing relationships with the young children to make them feel safe and secure, offer them good care for their optimal well-being, and create many opportunities for our young ones to play and to learn. Now, you may be wondering what happens after nursery 2 when children need to proceed to kindergarten 1. Well, when they turn 5 years old, our children are guaranteed a place in our partner MOE kindergartens located in the nearby primary schools, where they will be able to continue with their K1 and K2 education. I hope this answers your question. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you, Ms. Marini. Audience, if you're watching us now, you may email your questions to pcfhq@pcf.org.sg. Thank you. Next, we have a question from Aisha. I believe it's for Angela. Do you teach Hanyu Pinyin in school? Miss Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this question, Aisha. Children will typically learn Hanyu Pinyin in the first 6 months of their primary 1 year during their mother tongue language classes. So instead of Hanyu Pinyin, our Sparkle Tots children learn Yu Yin, which really consists of simple finals like A, O, compound finals like I, Ow, and their respective tones. And they do this in K2. So the main aim of our Yu Yin program is to help children to distinguish tones and to have better pronunciation of Chinese words. I hope this clarifies.
Thank you, Miss Angela. Eunice is asking, is 30 minutes a day of Mandarin lessons enough for preschool education? We are an English-speaking family, and as I struggle to speak proper Mandarin, my child struggles too.
Okay, I think I'll take this question. And thank you so much for this question, Eunice. I think we have many parents just like Eunice. So I believe your child is either at nursery level or younger, because our K1 and K2 children undergo 1 hour of mother tongue language class per day. So aside from the regular 30 minutes mother tongue language class, our children have many other opportunities to speak and interact in their mother tongue language. For example, we have a learning center time in the afternoon every day, where children are free to explore our mother tongue language corner to reinforce what they have learned earlier in the day. Besides that, our preschools embark on different projects during the holiday period. These projects, they provide a platform and to stimulate children's interest in learning and speaking of their mother tongue language. So some examples of those projects could include a drama showcase or the creation of poems and storybooks. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you, panelists. Now we know that families of preschoolers with developmental needs can look forward to more support in the coming years. This includes having inclusion coordinators within preschools. All teachers can look forward to more inclusive education training. My colleagues at PCF are all very happy and excited as they can now pick up new knowledge and skills to better help the little ones in their class. I believe some of you in the audience may be early childhood educators yourself. Feel free to email us at pcfhq@pcf.org.sg with your comments. Now, we have the following questions from some parents on inclusivity, and I would like to pose them to Dr. Hani. Madam Lim would like to know, my child is diagnosed with developmental needs. Will your center principal accept my child, and how can he be supported in school? And we have another similar question from Leah. Perhaps Dr. Hani, you can answer both of them together. Do you have additional services or support when a child has further learning needs or requires specialist intervention for suspected developmental delays? What services are available for these children, and what is the screening process like? Dr. Hani?
Okay. First off, in PCF Spark Adults, we have a range of children with developmental needs. It can be mild developmental needs or even the more moderate to higher needs. When diagnosed and when you are enrolling, it's important to let our center know so that we can look at what are the possible local support that can be provided for your child. There are sometimes some facilitation that are needed, and this can be provided by my team. For instance, recently we had a child coming in with sensory needs, and we had to prepare the center both environmentally and also for the teachers to give them some upskilling work for meeting sensory needs of the child. So there will be support on a case-to-case basis for children who are already in the school, and their teachers may suspect that the child is experiencing some developmental delays or developmental gaps. We will normally be informed by the center, and we will go into the center. We have a team of learning support educators that runs the development support and learning support program, and they will then do the screening, the observation of the child. If short-term intervention is needed by the child, then it will be provided at the center. The decision on what package to provide, what type of intervention to provide for the child will be discussed with our educational psychology partners and also our hospital partners to ensure that the child receive the correct doses of the intervention. Other than that, if the presenting issues or the age of the child is not allowing the child to go into the development support program and needs more support for the child, as in longer term support for the child, then we will refer the child to the hospital for full assessment and for further intervention recommended at the hospital. Okay, back to you, Lex.
That was a very heartwarming info, Dr. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. Here are some more questions from our website. One patient has this question. I read about MOE kindergartens. How does it compare with the PCF education program? Which is better for my child? How do I register for MOE kindergarten?
Lex, maybe I can take this question. As far as MOE kindergarten is concerned, they aim to provide affordable preschool education to Singaporean and PR children who are aged 5 and 6. So they cater for K1 and K2 children. Parents who are keen can always visit the MOE website for more information and to register. Now at PCF Sparkletot, we offer a wider range of preschool services to cater to different needs. Other than kindergarten service, we also have centers that offer infant care, childcare, early years, and even dual services. So children who enroll with PCF early years centers, they are the ones who are aged below 4, will be assured of a place at the partnering MOE KN when they reach the age of 5 and 6. So children will transit from PCF early years center to MOE kindergarten, and subsequently they will be assured of a place in the primary school where the MOE kindergarten is sited. Coming back to the programs, at PCF, we aim to provide a holistic educational program that cultivates lifelong learning skills. We want to build resilience and we want to prepare our children for the future. To do that, we incorporate a wide array of valuable interdisciplinary experiences. We include activities that are integrated with outdoor learning, tech toys, intergeneration programs, and much more. Beyond acquiring just knowledge, these opportunities also enable our children to develop strong moral values, help them to build self-management skills, and nurture essential skills that will see them succeed in the future. I believe Angela will be able to share more about how our curriculum differs from other operators later on. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Krisha, 28, would like to know, my child will be in your care for 12 hours a day. How do I know what's going on and whether he is safe?
Lex, I think I can help with Krisha's question. Krisha, we would like to assure you that we take our responsibility to keep your child safe in school very seriously. As parents ourselves, we know that your child's safety, security, and well-being are important for your peace of mind while you're away from your child. And to ensure your child's safety, we focus on 2 key strategies, professional practices and comprehensive SOPs. Allow me to just elaborate further. Firstly, our educators are guided by a code of conduct, a set of professional practices, which in PCF we call it the Children First Principles. And there are 5 altogether. Firstly, to always ensure that children are always treated in a respectful manner. Secondly, to acknowledge and address children's needs. Thirdly, we ensure that children can enjoy playing and learning in a safe and secure environment. Number 4, building positive and nurturing relationships with the children under our care. And lastly, educators should only use positive strategies when managing children's behavior. Now, every new staff who joins Sparkletots would have to attend a compulsory training and assessment program, which covers our Children First principles in detail and how these are translated to day-to-day practices in our centers. Secondly, I mentioned just now about SOPs. We have over the years developed a comprehensive suite of SOPs that guide our teachers on all aspects of our daily operations and services, from how teachers would should manage infants' daily feeds, to supervision of children during classroom activities and outdoor play, to managing your child's meals and nap time. Additionally, since the onset of the pandemic, we have implemented COVID-safe measures to protect the well-being of all children under our care. Our staff are required to attend regular refresher trainings and briefings pertaining to children's safety, so as to ensure that these are all top of mind always and is our priority. Lastly, we give parents peace of mind by staying connected with you. Our centers keep in regular contact with parents via phone calls or using what we call the Parent Engagement Tool, or PEP for short. It's an online app, and here teachers would upload photos, share stories, or videos of the children's learning moments in class. And parents, you can also communicate directly with our teachers and principals using the two-way messaging function. Very importantly, should your child become unwell while in school, we will make sure that you will be informed immediately. We will take the necessary precautions while waiting for you to collect your child, and we do have protocols in place to deal with an emergency. Krisha, I hope I have answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marini. Okay, next we have two questions, similar ones about enrichment program. One is from the website. That's from Adiana. Adiana is asking, do you offer enrichment program? And we have Jasmine Yo. She is also asking something similar. Are there enrichment classes just like other childcare which we can opt into? Yeah. Over to the panelists.
All right, I think I will take this question, Lex. Thank you so much for the question, Jasmine and Adiana. So at PCF, enrichment programs are done very differently. We layer it on top of our existing curriculum to make them available to all children enrolled in our centers. So some of these programs include STEMI, where children are exposed to invention education, and this is to hone their critical thinking skills and their problem-solving skills. And in that process, they build resilience and a can-do attitude. We also work with community partners like Sports SG and the National Arts Council to offer physical development and arts education programs for our children. I hope this answers your questions, Jasmine and Adiana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. And for those who are watching our show right now, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comments box below. Now, I would like to take a moment to consult our panel experts. Why is it important to enroll children early in preschool?
Lex, maybe I can just start the ball rolling here. Every child is unique and they all develop at different paces. Even siblings from the same family who grew up with the same parents and environment can respond quite differently as well. But research has shown time and time again that, number one, children with positive caregiving experience tend to respond and develop in a more assured pace. And number two, during the first 1,000 days of birth, the children's brain development is at an accelerated phase, where the network of synapses and connectivity is growing exponentially. So given the right conditions, the children will be able to pick up from the experiences around them, from the sight, the sounds, the movements. And hence, our preschool program seeks to match the needs of the early years children through responsive caregiving, through an age-appropriate stimulating environment, and through the programs that we put in place. And most of all, and very importantly, we keep parents updated on the child's development so that we can work collectively for the betterment of the child. I'll leave it to the other panelists to give you more details on these. Over to you.
Lex, maybe I can add my own, I can share my own personal experience. I'm a mother of two children, and they're big now, but when they were younger, I had placed them in preschool when they had turned 2. Although at that time, my parents were more than able and willing to look after my daughters. But I had enrolled them in preschool because I thought it was important for my kids to be in a group setting and be in the company of children their age, so that they can start to learn social and life skills from young, like being able to share toys, learning to be patient and taking turns, being able to follow simple instructions, taking care of their own belongings and caring for themselves, like dressing up. Of course, the other plus point at that time was that the qualified teachers, they were able to give my kids a lot more opportunities for learning and optimize their development as compared to if they were left at home with elderly parents or just a helper. I hope if there's any Akong and or Ama listening to this conversation, they don't get angry with me for saying that. But really, parents, when to enroll your children in preschool is really your personal decision. But there are indeed merits to consider enrolling them in school when they are younger than 4 or 5. A good quality preschool experience can indeed have a significant positive impact on your child's early development and sets a strong foundation for his future. I'll pass it on to the other panelists.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. Thank you, Ms. Marini. Some of us have alternative childcare arrangements at home, such as grandparents, helpers, and so on. Aren't children under 4 years of age too young to learn in a classroom environment?
Maybe I'll just follow up on what Marini mentioned earlier. And I think Marini mentioned about when her children are much younger, she sent her children to school and they pick up skills. And I think young children, because they are so innately curious about the world around them, and 4 years old and under, I think they are raring to explore, to play, and to try new things, to gain new experiences. So imagine if we combine this thirst for discovery and this desire to learn with meaningful, age-appropriate activities that is guided by professional educators. I think that the whole learning that will be involved will be so much more and exponentially greater. So the daily routines in school help children to build and practice self-help skills. They practice feeding themselves, dressing themselves up, and cleaning up after themselves. So when young children are also surrounded by people of their age group, they pick up social skills like taking turns, sharing, working together in a group. They also practice communicating their feelings, managing their emotions, and learn to consider the perspective of their classmates. And I think these are life skills essential to help children succeed in later life. And besides that, our educators observe and assess children's learning and development through daily interactions with them. And through this understanding of children's needs, interest, and how they interact with others, our educators can work with parents better to better support their child and to maximize their child's fullest potential. I think maybe Hani would have something to add on for this.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, definitely. When you have professionals tracking the development of your child, that's a lot more assuring. And when the developmental trajectory maybe is deviating slightly, you then can triangulate. The teachers can help triangulate with you, and with the information, you can then, in some cases, seek help for your child. So definitely when you are in a quality preschool, we can then provide support for you in that way from the intervention perspective. Thank you, Lex.
Thank you, everyone. To those watching out there, do you have another child below 4 years old already enrolled in a preschool? If you do, please share your experience in the comments box below. Thank you. I would like to go back to Dr. Hani now, as we have another question on inclusive education. This one's from Tan Gek Kim through the website. My child attends EPIC. Would you be able to support my child in your center? Dr. Hani?
Thank you for the question, Ms. Tan. We do have in PCF a range of children who attend both, a group of children who attend both EPIC and also PCF. In supporting these children, sometimes the goals that they're working on in EPIC are seamlessly embedded into the preschool daily function. What I mean by that is that if the child is working on, say, maybe oral motor skills in Epic Center, when they come into the preschool, some of the activities that Angela described just now would really be helping the child along. For instance, some creative activity like art and using straws for art, that would definitely cover and support that intervention need for the child. For other cases, there might be more intentional need to provide the support in the center. So in this case, the parent will be the fantastic advocate for the child, so that we can understand what's happening at the early intervention center and work together with the parents to help the child achieve the goal. Recently, we had an older child who was working on mobility goal in the intervention center. In our childcare center, we do not have typically care walker and rollators, but when we found about the child's needs, this equipment was sent to the center where the teachers are then able to support the child and work together with the child when the child is at the center. Thank you. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you. Okay, from Xiao Li, we have this question. In the current COVID-19 landscape, how are you making sure that my child will be safe in school?
Well, Lex, this is Li Ji. I really want to assure parents that the health and well-being of your children are of paramount importance to us. Our centers are in strict compliance with the COVID-19 precautionary measures, which are outlined by the early childhood development agencies. Now, this includes alignment with ACDA's COVID Safe ABCs. And what are these ABCs? They are actually enhanced safe management practices for daily routines in terms of access, who can access the center, behaviors within the centers, and also classrooms. So the ABC stands for access, behavior, and classrooms. We are prepared to step up these measures as and when needed, and we are in close touch with ACDA. In addition, all PCF Sparklethoughts preschool have implemented stringent safe management measures under our own PCF Sparklethoughts preschool safety plans. These plans provide for focus in 5 key areas: good personal hygiene and stringent health check, temperature taking, frequent washing of hands. Secondly, safe distancing, maintaining a safe distance between the children and the teachers. Third, segregation of staff and children to the maximum extent possible. So, for example, we don't have a teacher crossing another bay to teach another class so that we can contain any potential risk. And the fourth is regular disinfection and sanitization by our professional vendors. Fifth, we have to be ready and nimble to manage any contingencies that may arise. So teachers and staff at the center continue to do a thorough cleaning of frequently touched surfaces. They clean the toys, the sleeping cots, and shared learning resources on a very regular basis. In fact, we have installed UV sterilizers at all our centers for this purpose. So this task has always been a part of our regular maintenance routine to safeguard the well-being of our children, and we shall continue to do so. Thank you. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you, Ms. Tan. We have a question from the live audience. Okay, Hartono Ng. Understand that during this period, children are not able to go out from classroom. How does the center manage physical education? Go to the panelists.
Right, I think, Lex, I can take this question. Thank you so much for your question, Mr. Ng. Right now, our children can still go outdoors, but they are limited by the safety precautionary measures, and that's as the safe distancing and things like that. But our motor skills lessons are still being done in our centers. It's being held indoors, and we also keep and make sure that children are safely distanced when they conduct those activities. Yeah, so there's no disruption when it comes to physical development classes.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. Over to the website question again. Krishnan has this question. My child has never been to school before and I'm worried, how will the teachers manage him?
Lex, I think I can help with this question. This is indeed a common question, amongst first-time parents, and we can certainly understand your concern. Allow me to just take a bit of time to share about this. Our teachers will definitely do their best to help your child settle in his new environment, adjust to preschool routines, and become familiar and comfortable with his new friends and teachers. We are well trained and have much experience to deal with a variety of behaviors, ranging from separation anxiety, combating picky eaters, to helping shy children open up. For example, if your child needs more time to settle in, we understand. Our teachers will provide more one-to-one attention to establish a trusting relationship with him, to make him feel safe and secure. Then we'll slowly step away to give him space to make friends and start participating in activities. Now, for shy children, our teachers would identify the child's strengths and interests so that they can weave them into activities designed to bring them out of their shell. If parents have further concerns about how their children can adjust to preschool life, there are a few ways in which you can help your child to become more ready for school. For example, this is something that I had done before enrolling my children in preschool many years ago. About a month before the actual first day, you may want to start talking to your child about school, the friends that he can meet and play with, and the teachers who will take good care of him. Now, it's so important that you give your child a positive impression of school and what to expect. You can also start to establish the school routine, like waking up at a specific time, putting on the uniform and shoes, packing the school bag, going through the health checks in the morning, and saying goodbye at the door. Have fun pretending to go to preschool in advance to help your child walk through the daily routines until he becomes comfortable. Secondly, I would strongly encourage parents to share information with us about your child. We encourage you to let us know more about your child's personality and character, how he expresses himself when he's upset, his favorite play activity, his favorite food. All this information will be very useful in helping our teachers to better manage your child, especially during the first few weeks of school, as we slowly but surely will get to know him better. But there's really one thing that parents will need to understand. Please understand that your child will need some time to get used to preschool. We would like to partner you closely on this to help your child settle in well and enjoy coming to school every day. I hope that answers your question, Krishna.
Thank you, Ms. Maruni. I think parents in the school must have a good rapport. Then all things will work out well for the kids. And we have this question from Nuriati. How is your curriculum different from other preschools? I guess this question is for Ms. Angela. And I think we have one question. Sorry, Ms. Angela. We have one question from the live audience as well. I'm considering infant care. What is a typical day at infant care like? May I know what age will lessons, play sessions be held? Do you support floor diapering as well? Thanks, from Stacey Teo.
Okay, perhaps I can answer the part on how our curriculum is different from other preschools, together with how a typical day in an infant care looks like. Right. So firstly, I don't think I can really comment on the curriculum of the other preschools, but I can certainly tell you more about our Sparkle Thoughts curriculum. So since we have questions on infant care, I'll address our earliest curriculum first. So our earliest Sparkle curriculum, we focus on this relationship-based caregiving, where our educarers interact with our children positively and build nurturing and trusting relationships with our infants and toddlers. And our educarers observe their development and their learning, and we individualize the activities to help address our children's developmental needs and activities. So at infant level, other than the routine care, we provide many opportunities for the promotion of the integration of infant reflexes, because we know that studies have shown that infant reflexes, which is like the grasping reflex or the tonic head reflex, if they are not properly integrated, it will affect motor skills development, executive functioning, and how children learn in the future. So while doing these activities, we incorporate aspects of other learning domains, such as early language and literacy, or even aesthetics and creative expression, to ensure that our program is holistic. So such activities happen throughout the day, whether it's activity time, during bath time, baby gym time, or outdoor play. So really, we know that babies and babies, they don't respond to a timetable at all. So we do not have a scheduled timetable for what happens in an infant care on a daily basis. But definitely apart from the routine, which is like our bath time, the diaper changing time, the feeding time, our educarers really look at the needs and interests of our children, our infants and toddlers, to really find out at that point in time, what kind of activities do they need to integrate certain reflexes or to promote certain skills. And that's when they will individualize their activities to match that development or to enhance those development. So I won't be able to give you a scheduled timetable of how infant care looks like. It's really depending on the baby's needs and interests at that point in time, and our educarers adjust their practices accordingly. Right. So in our play group to pre-nursery program, our teachers will continue to provide a secure and nurturing environment for our children to explore, to learn, and to thrive. So a lot of emphasis is placed on responding to our children's interests and needs, just like when they're younger. So our children are encouraged to make choices. They communicate their ideas and feelings to our teachers. And through close observations of our children, our teachers identify and plan opportunities for them to develop early cognitive and fine motor skills. And through activities like our Wonder Hands and our math program, our teachers co-explore new knowledge together with our children. We engage them in meaningful conversations, and we exercise their flexible thinking skills. So what we do in early years, prepare our children to transit to our preschool program. And activities in our preschool program are designed to help our children meet 4 learning outcomes. First one being an effective and confident communicator, a sociable and responsible child, a thinking child, and a healthy and wholesome child. And we know these outcomes are critical skills needed to future-proof our children. And all of these activities are intentionally planned to circle back to these 4 outcomes. And I think what is so special about a Sparkle Tots education is, above all the academics, that is the language, the numeracy, the science and all, we have a very strong conviction when it comes to inculcating the right mindset and values to our children, and to equip them with the life skills that will help them navigate the complexities of the future. We want to nurture them to be humans with a strong moral compass and a sense of ethics. We want them to be inclusive and to appreciate diversity. We want them to be resilient and have a strong problem-solving mindset. So instead of running to their parents whenever they need help, they try and solve the issues themselves. And we do this through various activities. So for example, during our current affairs class, we discuss topical issues like sustainability or healthcare workers and migrant workers during the pandemic. So during such conversations, our children do a lot of reflection, a lot of perspective taking. They ask questions or even answer questions about how will their actions affect the environment or the feelings of other people. So we have a very strong intergenerational program as well. And this is something that we are very proud of. So with 1 in 4 Singaporeans being 65 years old and older within the next 10 years, we want our children to be comfortable when they are with older adults and know how to interact positively with them. Our children engage in various activities with our partnering elder care facilities. Some of these include storytelling activities, art activities, or even activities where our children teach our seniors how to do simple coding using tech toys they use in the classroom. Aside from that, we also have invention education, and this is progressively implemented in our centers. In this program, our children identify a real-world problem and come up with an invention to solve this problem. So during this process, they do their research, they ideate, they create prototypes, they put their prototypes to the test before deciding whether that is indeed the solution to their problem. And this whole invention process is one that is iterative, which means it goes back and forth, the planning stages, the different stages, because we know inventions don't work on the first time. Our children needs to go back and tweak and to refine their invention. So after which, that's not all. They need to pitch their inventions to their classmates to convince them of its real-world value. So this process really helps our children to be able to see problems with a different lens. It trains their resilience and a can-do attitude. And it really helps them to be articulate communicators because they seek to bring their ideas across clearly to their peers. And this authentic, practical, and life-wide experiences that we craft and plan for our children is really what differentiates a Sparkle Tots education from the others. And I hope this information helps our parents to understand our curriculum better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. That's a very holistic information you have given us on the curriculum. I see more questions coming up from the live audience. We have one here from Jasmine Yo. Actually, my child is currently attending another preschool. It has been 2 weeks since the first day, but my toddler is still crying when he sees the entrance of the school each day. Is this a concern? Over to the panelists.
Lex, maybe I can help Jasmine with this question. Jasmine, I'm so sorry to hear that your child is crying and not settled in yet into the preschool. But you may take some comfort in knowing that such separation anxiety, like crying, your child being clingy, not wanting to go to school, this is to be expected, and in many cases is quite normal. I know your heart pains, right, when you see this happening, but it's quite common, especially in young children who's not familiar with preschool as yet. They've never been to preschool before. Now, each child is different, and they will need to take some time to adjust. The time that they take may vary from children to children, from child to child. And what's important is really that you please continue to remain patient and positive and encourage your child to still continue to go to school, because that routine of going to school every day is important to establish. But of course, your child will need some time to get used to his new friends, his teachers, and preschool in general. I would also suggest, if you've not already done so, speak to the center, speak to the teachers, and see how you can work together with them on some common strategies that can allow your child to settle in faster. The teachers also need to continue to work on establishing that relationship with your child so that your child can settle in as quickly as possible. I really hope your child will get to enjoy school very soon. I hope that helps. All the best.
Thank you, audience, for the questions. Okay, now let's go back to addressing some of the questions submitted through the website. Mrs. Chu would like to know, how can we as parents get to know what our child is doing and how is he progressing in class?
Lex, I can help with this question as well.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I remember when my kids were in preschool, many times I would ask them, so Nadia, what did you do in school today, or what did you learn? And most often the response will be, it was okay, or I play, and full stop. Maybe it's my questioning skills, but that's the most that I usually would get out of them. But anyway, back to this question. We know that parents these days, you want to be as involved as possible in your children's preschool experience. And for this reason, our teachers will keep parents regularly updated on the progress of their children's development using our parent engagement portal, or what we call PP in short. Parents can access the PEP via an online app, and here teachers would upload photos, share stories, and videos documenting your child's learning moments in the classroom. Parents can also communicate directly with the teachers, ask questions, check in about their child using the two-way messaging function. On top of that, we also hold parent-teacher conferences at least twice a year to share formal updates on the child's progress in school and to address any queries or concerns on their development together with you, our parents. Apart from all this, of course, you are always welcome to let us know if there are any particular area of interest or questions that you may have about your child's time with us. Our teachers can easily set up an appointment to speak to parents over the phone or even meet via Zoom or via other forms of video call. I hope that answers your question, Mrs. Cliff. Thanks.
Next is the question from Miss Pauline. I guess this is also for Miss Marini. If my child misbehaves in school, how will he be treated?
Okay, this is indeed a very important question. When children misbehave or display challenging behavior, then our teachers will use positive and age-appropriate ways to manage the situation. Our teachers will seek to understand what triggers such negative behavior so that we can address the possible root causes. And for older kids, we may also employ a problem-solving approach that involves getting your child's input. For example, I just want to share with you, we had a child in K1H in the K1 class who was frequently displaying disruptive behavior in the classroom. After several conversations, he shared with the teacher, he opened up and shared with the teacher that actually he feels bored. That's why he gets up and will start to disturb his friends and do other things. So the teacher discussed the behavior with him, and they agreed that he can proceed to the games corner after completing his work. And the teacher even assigned him to help coach his friends who may need extra help with the activities. But regardless of the reasons for your child's negative behavior, please rest assured that where necessary, we will work with parents, with you, to develop a plan to address the negative behavior and to effectively help and support the child. It's very important that we use common strategies to ensure a consistent approach, both at home as well as in school. Now, if I can just add further to this question, I think more importantly, when it comes to children's behavior, we don't just deal with it when children misbehave, because that's largely reactive in nature. But instead, our teachers are trained to use proactive approaches to encourage good behavior on a daily basis through positive guidance, such as setting up age-appropriate classroom rules to establish expectations on behavior. Our teachers teach children about positive behavior and values like mutual respect, patience, cooperation, etc., and role model as adults. And when children show positive behavior, they get acknowledged, they get praise, and they may even get rewards like stickers or get to play with their favorite toys. This way, our children will learn that there are positive consequences to good behavior and are more motivated to behave well. At the same time, very importantly, children are also taught alternative ways to express their emotions when they're upset. Example, by using words rather than physical actions. And where space is available, our teachers set up what we call calm down corners in the classroom where children can go to sit, calm down, process and regulate their emotions. The child is still kept under the teacher's supervision during this time, but when he's ready, the teacher will then speak to him to discuss his behavior. It is our goal definitely to make sure that the classroom setup and our teachers' practices are all geared towards promoting good behavior so that all children can enjoy an optimal learning experience in our classrooms. Back to you, Lex.
Thank you, Ms. Marini. Okay, a question from the website. Enhuat75 is asking, is there spelling and do you give homework?
All right, I think Lex, this is a question for me. All right, so our children learn to spell through meaningful literacy activities like class dictated stories, list writing and word puzzles, or even through spelling games such as secret codes or sand play. And for the homework question, our educators plan regular take-home activities for our children and for our parents. Research has shown that, you know, when parents are actively involved in their children's education, children not only learn better, they develop positive attitudes towards learning and have better self-esteem. So PCF recognizes our parents as valuable partners when it comes to supporting the learning and development of our children. So our take-home activities are designed to let parents play an active role in supporting their children's learning. And one of such activities could be, for example, bringing your child on a walk to a park to observe what is around them. And it's an opportunity for you to ask your child some questions and for your child to record some of their findings before they bring it back to the classroom to share it with their classmates. And this really helps to reinforce some of the knowledge that your child has learned in school. It gets them to exercise thinking and reasoning skills and really to give them an opportunity to communicate their ideas to their classmates in school. So I hope this clarifies the question on spelling and homework. Over to you, Lex.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. Okay, next, I think we have a question from the live audience. For infant care, do you support feeding breast milk pre-expressed in your centers or only formula milk? Over to the panelists.
Lex, I can help with this question, Lex. I think we all know that there are many benefits of infants to continue to be on breast milk for as long as possible, and we do support this in our centers. Mothers, you are able to bring in your express milk into our centers. We have a set of procedures to safely handle this in terms of storage, in terms of usage, etc., which we will be happy to share with you once you are enrolled with us. So in short, yes, we do, mothers are able to let their babies have their express breast milk consumed whilst they're in our centers. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another live questions from the audience. Can you explain more on K2 curriculum? My daughter will be in P1 next year. We are a bit worried about her Chinese written skills.
Okay, I'll take this question, Lex. Thank you so much, Mr. Lim, for asking this question. Maybe I'll address the question on the K2 curriculum first. Basically, the K2 curriculum continues from the philosophy that we mentioned earlier, some of the activities that we do in the classroom in our preschool years. So they will be exposed not only to the academics, which is like the 6 learning domains on literacy, on numeracy, on science. It's also about helping them to build very strong moral values on, through our intergenerational program or through some of the current affairs topics that we discuss in the classroom. But what is more important about our K2 program is that component on P1 transition. So we understand that parents are worried whether their child is ready for P1 or not. So towards the end of the year, which is in term 3 and term 4, we embark on P1 transition in our curriculum. And this P1 transition program really exposes our children to what they can expect in a primary school. So in usual years, other than like last year and this year because of COVID, we bring children to the primary schools to have a sensing of how a primary school is like and what they can expect when they enter a primary school. So and at the same time, students also practice buying food from the canteen or even having a meal in the canteen. So these are some of the experiences that we give our children when it comes to P1 transition. But given in COVID years like last year and this year, we have chosen to do virtual tours instead. So we have partnering primary schools who have opened up their schools for virtual tours, and our children they assess these virtual tours in the classroom, and our teachers will help them understand what it is like in a primary school. and that's one thing. And for experiences about buying food in a primary school, we do that by creating simulated corners within the preschool to help our children understand how to purchase food. And of course, during our numeracy class, we cover topics on money to help them identify coins and denominations, basically, so that they know how to pay for their food when they are in primary 1. So I see you have another concern about mother tongue language skills and about how your child, you're worried about their Chinese written skills. I think let's think of it this way. In preschool, we endeavor to help our children love their mother tongue languages, because we know by primary school time, we hear of so many children saying that Chinese is so difficult. They don't like Chinese at all. There's so many strokes when it comes to the Chinese words. And so to be able to help our children be able to not think like that when they are in primary school, we hope to help them to love the language first. So in preschool, we place a lot of emphasis on the reading, speaking, listening of the language. And we really want them to fall in love with their mother tongue language, to see it as part of their everyday life, so that, and writing as a skill is really emphasized last when it comes to preschool. And that is also because our children may not have sufficient or their fine motor skills are not developed to the extent that they can write very well. So even if in primary school, you'll realize that younger children write their words bigger and in a more, I wouldn't say untidy, maybe not so nice manner. And that's because the fine motor skills are not being developed that well yet. And as they grow older, they'll be able to write better. So I think at this point in time, we probably shouldn't be overly worried about how the writing looks like, but we should be maybe paying a little bit more attention to your child about them, whether they love their mother tongue language and whether they enjoy speaking in that language. And I think we can also foster that kind of love for language at home. Like I mentioned earlier about our take-home activities, I think parents really play such a great role in helping our children sustain the interest in mother tongue languages. Expose your child to their mother tongue language at home by speaking to them, telling them that you are also interested in that language and you want to converse with them in that language. I think with that, we help them to love the language. And also in school, they also our teachers cover storytelling or even cultural stories, really to help our children understand their ethnic roots better. So I think with all these activities, let's keep writing to the last. They will develop, but let's keep the interest for their mother tongue language going first. So I hope this answers your queries on curriculum as well as the writing skills portion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. Next, we have another question from the live audience. Alicia, may I know how often does your teachers go for trainings, and are there lessons for brain development?
Lex, maybe I can take the first part of that question, and then my other panelists can help with the second one. How often do our teachers go for training? Well, our teachers are our most important asset, and the quality of our teachers really defines the quality of our programs and our services to your children. So we do invest very much in our teachers' continual development and training. We have a variety of training that we avail to the teachers depending on their roles, whether they're educarers, novice teachers. There's also refresher training for veteran staff. And there are different trainings for different areas. For example, we spoke just now about training with regards to children's safety, but there's also other forms of training related to pedagogy and curriculum. In fact, we actually have got a KPI in terms of how many hours of training that each teacher within a specific role will need to undergo on an annual basis. And we track this very meticulously to make sure that the teachers receive continuous professional development, to make sure that they stay updated on the latest teaching methodologies, and at the same time be effective educators to facilitate the children's optimal learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marini. Next, we are going back to the website questions. Patricia Ng, here is your question. How is your curriculum aligned with MOE?
Okay, Lex, I think this question is also for me. Thank you so much for this question, Ms. Patricia. So our Sparkle Thoughts curriculum is aligned to the MOE's Nurturing Early Learners framework. And that means that your child will undergo a holistic curriculum that covers the 6 learning domains. That is language and literacy, numeracy, discovery of the world, aesthetics and creative expression, motor skills development, as well as social and emotional development. So these 6 learning domains, they are not compartmentalized into subject areas. Instead, you will find that these learning domains are integrated into all the activities that your child engages in. So maybe just for an example, our teachers may bring children outdoors after they have read a story together in the classroom. And our children may be tasked to search the outdoors for suitable items that they can use to role play or to retell a story. And this could be leaves, twigs, or even stones. And during this process, their teacher reminds them to only pick non-living items or items that have fallen on the grass. And this activity seems like it's a language and literacy class, but it entails really more than that. It involves showing care and respect for living things and our environment, which is a key learning goal of discovery of the world, and to demonstrate an awareness that their actions can have consequences on living things. And this is really also a key learning goal for social and emotional development. So I hope I've been able to answer this question on how our curriculum aligns with MOEs. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question from the live audience, Evan Moore. How we are at Sparkle Thoughts encouraging children, especially who are shy and talk less, to have good conversation with others?
That question came from Evan, is it, Lex?
Yes, from Evan Moore.
Let me try and help with that. Well, Evan, for children who are shy, our teachers will need to identify the child's strengths and interests so that they can help to weave the child into activities that are designed to bring them out of their shell. There's also many opportunities on a daily basis where children can be encouraged to speak up and have conversations. For example, one of the activities that I always like to see teachers doing is this thing called the show and tell, where the children are allowed to take turns to share with the class something that they is of special interest or something that's close to their heart. For example, they could bring in a photo of their family, they could bring in a toy. It's really up to the teacher and the children to design how that activity would take place. But basically, the child would be given an opportunity to speak. And if the child is not able to do that at the first instance, it may just start with some descriptive words. And then when the child is more confident, then the teacher can give the child more time to speak and express himself. In terms of conversations, when the kids are together, when they're playing and having activities, conversations naturally comes about, and the teachers would be skilled to encourage children to continue such conversations, to develop their confidence and their language skills. I hope, Evan, I've helped to answer your question adequately. Thank you.
Okay, panelists, we have another live question from the audience. This is from Jasmine Yo. To add on to the question by TRM, what is the difference between PCF and the other childcare which is based on inquiry approach?
Thank you so much, Lex. I think we have another similar question that I think I can answer together, which is the one from TRM about whether there are programs to encourage curiosity and encourage love for learning. So I think I'll answer these 2 questions together. I guess I wouldn't want to compare what the other preschools have, because I can't really comment on their program, but I can certainly talk about what Sparkle Thoughts can offer when it comes to inquiry. For one, you will realize that most of our activities don't come with I think it's not very teacher directed in that sense. I think over this whole conversations I've been re-emphasizing a lot on, you know, really adjusting the activities to meet our children's needs, or to differentiate the activities based on our children's needs and interests. Or even their learning and development. So I think most of our activities are kept open in nature. We want our children to be thinking children. So we do that through asking questions. And our children will definitely also have the opportunity to be able to ask questions, to do close observation on things that are around them. And then if they're curious about something, they ask their teachers. Their teachers facilitate the discussion by also asking other classmates, or, you know, give them prompts for them to go and search for answers themselves, or to go and do reflection. So that's how we deal with inquiry over here in PCF. At the same time, I also mentioned about invention education earlier. Really, the invention education is about children, you know, identifying a real world problem. And this real world problem is not something that our teachers dictate to them, or to give them that real world problem, because I think this would really just simply deny the entire objective of how our invention education program is. So we want children to be able to really sit down, think about, you know, what exactly bothers them when it comes to day-to-day life, and what they can do or to invent to be able to solve this problem. And I think this whole process in itself is an inquiry-based kind of learning, where they have to think through, they have to go and do research, they have to go and think about the solutions to solve their own problem. And when things don't work out, their teachers don't give them the answers as well. They have to go and search for the answers themselves. And what the teacher really does is to facilitate that by asking them, for example, have you done research on this before? And this helps to create a prompt for our children, so that they can, you know, go back to Google, do some research, or they can even do interviews with their grandparents or their parents at home to find out whether they have some experience when it comes to inventions like that. And with all this information, children digest this information, they think about what kind of information they can extract and use for their own invention, and they put it into their prototype. And like what I mentioned earlier, prototypes don't work the first time round. Our children will still need to tweak, will still need to revise or to refine their inventions. And this whole process itself really is one that stimulates our children's thinking, and stimulates how they go through that whole problem solving process, and how they reason out, how they solve certain issues that are pertinent to their daily lives. So I hope I'm able to answer those questions on inquiry approach. Thank you.
Sharon, next is your question. Do you refund the school fee if the school is closed for 2 weeks or more due to suspect cases in the branch?
Lex, I can take this question, Lex. If there's any disruption to school and children have to remain at home for some time, our teachers will still continue to carry out some activities with children on a daily basis. After our experience during circuit breaker last year, we have supported our teachers with training and coaching, such that they can use technology to connect with children, to conduct virtual hellos and carry out activities via remote, so that the kids can still be meaningfully engaged in learning while at home. We also have home-based learning kits for our SparkleTalks parents, which they can download from our parent engagement portal to further extend children's learning at home. If there's any adjustment to school fees, we will inform parents accordingly. If there are parents who require financial assistance or support, please do step forward and approach our center principals. We will be happy to have a discussion with you. Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, I believe that's all the time we have for this afternoon. We hope this has been an informative session for everyone here. We may not be able to address every single question, but we will be updating the FAQ section of our website wherever that's relevant. For those who we didn't answer any for your question on this show, we will send your answers via the email. On behalf of PCF SparkleTalk, I would like to thank everyone again for joining us this afternoon. I would like to thank Ms. Tan Lee Ji, Ms. Marini, Ms. Angela, and Dr. Hani for being on our panel to answer all our questions. Should you have further questions after today, please submit them through the website or email us at pcfhq@pcf.org.sg. That's pcfhq@pcf.org.sg. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.